Nicole Lovell was a vibrant and ambitious young woman, full of dreams and determination. Born and raised in New Zealand, she grew up in a close-knit family that encouraged her to pursue her passions. Nicole had a natural curiosity about the world, a bright smile that could light up a room, and an independent spirit that drew people to her. Friends described her as kind, intelligent, and fiercely loyal, someone who always put others before herself, yet carried her own dreams close to her heart. By the time Nicole reached her early 20s, she was studying at university while balancing part-time work to support herself. She had plans to travel, explore new cities, and carve a future that she could call entirely her own. Her sense of freedom and ambition was infectious, and she inspired those around her to think bigger and act braver. Despite her independent streak, Nicole was also cautious about trust. She knew the importance of choosing carefully whom to rely on, yet she remained optimistic about people. She believed in genuine connections, and she often extended kindness even when others failed to reciprocate it fully. Her friends appreciated this about her. They knew that behind Nicole's bright personality lay a thoughtful, sensitive soul, aware of the risks that sometimes came with being open-hearted. Everything changed during the summer of 2018. Nicole met a man she initially believed could be trusted. At first, their interactions seemed ordinary, friendly conversations, shared laughter, and mutual interest. To the outside observer, there appeared to be no cause for concern. Yet subtle signs of manipulation began to emerge, the kind that often go unnoticed until it is too late. Nicole's intuition sensed discomfort, but she, like many, hoped that things would improve with time, that her judgment of character had not been wrong. As weeks passed, the man's behavior escalated from casual control to overt intimidation. He sought to limit her interactions, questioned her decisions, and attempted to isolate her from her friends and family. Nicole began to feel trapped in a web that was difficult to escape. She confided in close friends, expressing fear and frustration, but still holding on to hope that the situation could be resolved without confrontation. One evening, Nicole attended a university gathering. She had dressed carefully, hoping to enjoy a night out and relax with friends. She laughed, she danced, she shared stories. The Nicole everyone knew and loved seemed fully present. Yet behind her smile, anxiety simmered. She felt the weight of looming threats, aware that her freedom was under siege. Every message she sent to family carried a coded sense of caution. Every step outside her apartment was measured, careful, intentional.
On that night, Nicole made a decision that would have lasting consequences. She chose to leave the party early and head home alone. Her friends wished her well, unaware that this simple act of independence would place her in imminent danger. The streets of the city, once familiar and safe in her eyes, had become a landscape where trust could no longer guarantee security. Nicole never returned home that night. Her family's calls went unanswered. Messages were left without reply. The realization that something was terribly wrong quickly set in. The missing person report was filed, and a search began immediately, but the sense of dread among her loved ones was overwhelming. Nicole Lovell, the vibrant, independent young woman full of promise, had vanished under circumstances that would shock the community and the nation alike. This first chapter of Nicole's story is a reminder of how swiftly ordinary life can be disrupted, and how even the brightest and most cautious individuals can fall prey to betrayal, manipulation, and ultimately, violence. It was the beginning of a nightmare no one could have anticipated, one that would demand justice, accountability, and the unwavering determination of those who loved her. The morning after Nicole Lovell disappeared, a wave of panic swept over her family and friends. At first, there was hope that she had simply stayed with a friend or gotten delayed. But as hours turned into a full day without any word from Nicole, fear began to replace hope. Her parents contacted the local police immediately, reporting her missing. The urgency of the situation was clear. Nicole was young, independent, and responsible, making her sudden disappearance highly suspicious. Police began the investigation by retracing her steps. They interviewed friends, colleagues, and anyone who had seen her the previous evening. Surveillance footage from the university and nearby streets provided critical insight. Nicole had left the gathering as expected, but later footage revealed she had walked alone along dimly lit streets, entering areas that were known to be quieter and less monitored. This highlighted the dangerous path she had inadvertently taken, and investigators feared she might have encountered someone with harmful intentions. As detectives pieced together the timeline, suspicions increasingly focused on the man she had recently been involved with. Friends recalled instances where he had been controlling, questioning Nicole's choices, and attempting to isolate her from her social circle. While no one had anticipated that his behavior could escalate to extreme violence, the pattern of coercion and manipulation became evident to investigators. The investigation soon uncovered physical evidence at locations connected to him. Items belonging to Nicole were discovered, suggesting that she had been forcibly taken. This evidence, combined with witness testimonies, painted a grim picture. Law enforcement understood that Nicole's disappearance was not random, it was deliberate, calculated, and tied directly to someone she had trusted. Media coverage of the case grew rapidly. Local news outlets reported the story, highlighting Nicole's disappearance and appealing for public assistance. Her photographs were shared widely, and the public became deeply invested in finding her. Social media amplified these efforts, with friends and strangers alike posting messages of hope and vigilance. The case became a cautionary tale about the vulnerability of young women, even in familiar surroundings. During this time, Nicole's family endured an emotional roller coaster. Every lead, every call from the police, carried immense weight. They grappled with fear, frustration, and helplessness, constantly hoping that she would be found alive. The uncertainty was overwhelming. Every day that passed without news deepened their anguish, yet they refused to give up searching.
The suspect was eventually apprehended. Police charged him after discovering substantial evidence linking him to Nicole's disappearance. Items found in his possession, along with forensic analysis, established a connection that could not be ignored. During questioning, his story was inconsistent, and gaps in his account further fueled suspicion. The legal process began, focusing on understanding the events that led to Nicole's disappearance and ensuring that justice would be pursued. Forensic experts played a crucial role in the investigation. They examined the crime scenes meticulously, gathering DNA samples, fingerprints, and trace evidence. Every detail was documented, as investigators knew that the success of the case depended on precision. The evidence revealed a narrative of premeditation. Nicole had been vulnerable, and her trust had been exploited in a way that left her entirely defenseless. The public followed the trial closely. Nicole's story sparked discussions about personal safety, the dangers of online interactions, and the importance of recognizing red flags in relationships. Experts emphasized the need for awareness and vigilance, encouraging young people to take precautions while still living their lives fully. Nicole's tragedy became a learning point for society, showing how quickly control and trust can turn into harm when manipulative individuals take advantage. Finally, after months of investigation and court proceedings, the evidence presented led to a conviction. The man responsible for Nicole's disappearance and murder was found guilty. While this verdict could never undo the pain, it delivered a measure of justice for Nicole and her family. Her story became a powerful reminder of the importance of trust, vigilance, and accountability. Even after the trial concluded, the impact of Nicole Lovell's life and tragic death continued to resonate. Her family spoke publicly about her ambitions, her kindness, and the life she had hoped to live. They used her story as a platform to raise awareness about the dangers that young women can face, the importance of speaking out, and the need for legal systems to act decisively when someone is threatened. Nicole's case was no longer just a story of loss, it became a lesson for a community, a nation, and anyone who values justice, safety, and the preservation of human life.
Even after the court delivered its verdict, the loss of Nicole Lovell remained deeply felt by her family, friends, and community. While the man responsible had been sentenced, no legal outcome could restore the life that had been taken. Nicole's parents, though grief-stricken, made a conscious decision to ensure her memory would live on not as a statistic, but as a symbol of resilience, awareness, and the urgent need for change. In the months following the trial, Nicole's story reached beyond the borders of New Zealand. Media coverage highlighted not only the crime itself, but also the broader issues it revealed, the vulnerability of young women, the dangers that exist even in seemingly safe environments, and the critical importance of recognizing early warning signs in relationships. Social campaigns began to spread, using her story to educate people about personal safety, trust, and the warning signs of manipulation and abuse. Nicole's friends and family spearheaded initiatives in her honor. They shared her ambitions, her love for life, and the kindness she had always shown to others. Community workshops and university programs were developed to educate young people about personal safety and the importance of speaking out. Her story became a powerful teaching tool, highlighting how the choices of those around us can directly impact our safety and how the law can intervene to protect vulnerable individuals. The trial itself had sparked significant reflection about the legal system. Debates emerged over how evidence is handled, how victims' lives are represented in court, and how justice can be pursued more effectively. Nicole's case became a reference point in legal discussions, advocating for reforms to ensure that cases involving violence against women are approached with both sensitivity and rigor. Lawyers, activists, and educators cited her story as an example of why accountability and preventive measures are crucial. Beyond the courtroom and public discourse, Nicole's legacy became deeply personal. Her family used their grief as a catalyst for awareness. They gave interviews, spoke at events, and encouraged communities to be vigilant, supportive, and proactive in protecting those who cannot always protect themselves. Nicole's life, though tragically cut short, served as a beacon for the values she had embodied: courage, integrity, and an unyielding desire for independence and self-determination. Over time, the case also inspired discussions about online safety. Investigators had found that the perpetrator had initially established contact through digital platforms, exploiting the trust of a young, independent woman. This realization led to campaigns emphasizing the importance of online vigilance, responsible social interaction, and recognizing the potential for danger in seemingly harmless encounters. Nicole's story became a cautionary tale not of fear, but of awareness and empowerment.
While her absence left a permanent void, Nicole's impact on the world continued to grow. Her story was not just about the crime committed against her, it was about how one life could inspire change, prompt discussion, and foster a culture that values the protection of women. Schools, universities, and social organizations cited her case as a real-life example of the consequences of unchecked control, manipulation, and violence. Nicole Lovell's legacy is a testament to the enduring power of awareness, advocacy, and resilience. Her story serves as a reminder that even in a world that can be cruel and unpredictable, the voices of victims through their families, communities, and public consciousness can drive meaningful change. Her life, though tragically ended, continues to educate, caution, and inspire. In the end, Nicole's story is not defined solely by the injustice she endured but by the ongoing impact she has had on society. Her memory challenges communities to be vigilant, to speak up, and to ensure that justice, awareness, and safety are never optional. Nicole may have been taken too soon, but her voice, her legacy, and the lessons drawn from her life will continue to resonate for generations. Her story reminds the world that vigilance saves lives, awareness matters, and justice, even when delayed, can create meaningful change.